All right there, street sweeper. Got your Stryker 955 all done up and ready to go for you. Everything is complete. Voltage is 14.6 here. I think my bench is 14.67, so it's pretty accurate on the face right here, what it's showing. I changed it over so you can read voltage there. We have a full tune-out done to the radio. We have upgraded finals for better output and cleaner spectral purity on the spectrum analyzer. We have an upgraded echo board to give a cleaner, more clear sound, more present, with the aftermarket echo board. We have modifications done to the echo board to expand the bandwidth of it as well, to give us more bass and fullness, more body to the voice. That is all set internally on the inside of the radio. So this control is now a dead control. It doesn't do anything. It's just there for looks. And the echo board is set perfect on the inside for you. And you'll just keep this echo position set to the center to keep the original board bypassed, so we don't get any of that mud or distortion from the original echo board that these come with. We have Hifi Transmit, Hifi Recieve to expand the bandwidth, to give you more body, fullness, and bass. We have a 5-band internal equalizer done. It's all preset, set perfect on the inside for you, and meshed to where you can run your modded D104 you got from me, or the 878, or really anything with the extra controls you got here. So anyway, we got full tune, upgraded echo with mods done, set it perfect on the inside, Hifi Transmit, Hifi Recieve, upgraded finals, 5-band internal equalizer, and then we have the variable peak control. So you can control your peak output power. If you roll it all the way up, it's going to be somewhere 120 watts plus. If we roll it all the way down, it's going to be less than 20 watts PEP. So you have full range to go anywhere that you need to go. That is independent of your carrier, independent of your voice. So it's not like some people will say, hey, okay, I'm running in this amplifier. Let me back down my mic gain to where this thing only swings to 25 watts. No, it's not backing down your audio. It's drive. It's independent of audio and carrier. So it's done early on in the PA stage. All right, so here we have a variable tone control that controls, how much mids you add with your voice. So it's set up to be, the bandwidth is opened up, especially for a lot of energy at the lows. So with this wide open, it's going to be very bassy. If you got like a tinny or high-pitched voice, then you may be able to get by with this wide open without creating any mud. If your voice is like most people's, you're going to run somewhere around in here. If you got a super bassy voice, you might have to run back in here. So the more you roll this control to the left, the more mids you're adding in with your voice. If it gets over here, it's going to be real shrieky sounding with little bass. Over here, it's going to be very bassy and could be muddy with a lot of voices. Back in here, you're going to be just adding just the right amount of mids to mix with the bass that's here. So this will make it versatile enough to mesh with any voice, to make them sound great. Also, on top of everything else, we have a Vfo Wind Up Mod done, and we've got that on a switch for you. So up is on for the Vfo, down is off. I seen a statement, somebody talking about hitting air traffic control at 200 plus megahertz with a Vfo. I mean, this literally slides 5 kilohertz off frequency at most. Somebody else made a comment that it's sliding underneath and then coming up the frequency. Actually, it slides from the top and down the frequency. This is I'm the only one that does this on a 955 that I know of. I've never seen anybody else do it, and we've been doing it for years. It doesn't create any harm. It's literally just a heterodyne shift in frequency. You'll hear the shift on to frequency. You wait a second before you key. If you key up while it's on and you talk really fast, you might be muffled for that first split second, for your first word. But as long as you pause, it goes on the frequency, makes the noise. So right now I got this down. All settings are set. We'll go ahead and check it with the peak all the way up, carrier all the way up. We'll see what our carrier ratio is first. So we'll go to 20 watt scale. We key here. It's like we're keying about 19 watts all the way up. Clean on the spectrum analyzer. Go ahead and go all the way down on the carrier, and we can get all the way down to, looks like about 2/3 of a watt or so. 2/3 of a watt is still clean. This is not clean from the factory. If you key Stryker anything below 2 watts and they own a spectrum analyzer, it will create spikes without manipulation in the PA stage. So that has been corrected to where it is clean. So now, roll this carrier all the way back up. back to the 19 watts. We'll go ahead and see what it modulates here. And looks like we're modulating to about 129 peak or so, 130 watts peak. And we'll look at our spectral purity on the spectrum analyzer. It's nice and clean. If you look, my signal is completely off the scale here, which is what you want to see, because then we're measuring everything accurately on the scale. And I'll talk about that more in a second. We'll go ahead and show the output here on the bird. Peak scale on the bird here. Looks like we're seeing 140 watts or so peak. Looking at on LP1, the LP100A digital meter, 154 watts there. Looking at it here, it looks like 134, yeah, 132 watts over there. We look at average on a 100 watt slug, and we're seeing about 58 average or so, 57, something like that. So doing great. All meters show slightly differently. I do not modify this, none of these. They're like they come from the factory, because it's just a meter, it's just a reference, it's another reference point. I leave it stock like it comes. That way, if somebody has the same meter, it's going to be very similar. This is, you know, high dollar 4314 bird. They're very expensive. I didn't mess with it. All these meters are, like I said, just different reference points. They're going to read different readings because they're different meters. I do not adjust the dosy to read what the bird reads, because if somebody else has a dosy, theirs are not going to read what the bird reads. So, you know, just use it for a reference point. Okay, so now let's go ahead and cut the carrier all the way down, and let's cut the peak all the way down, and we'll see where we can adjust to as far as our output goes. All the way down on both. We're modulating to 15 watts peak. So 15 watts peak is what we'll modulate to all the way down. Check it out on the spectrum analyzer, and it is still clean there. So let's roll this back up, and I'll go ahead and tell you one more thing that some people do know, some people don't know. So all the way back up here, I'm going to modulate. If you look, my signal's well off the scale. Even if I was just at the tip of this signal on the scale, then this is 10 dB below fundamental, 20 dB, 30 dB, 40 dB, 50 dB, and 60 right here where my noise floor is. So 60 dB below the fundamental. If I had any harmonics at 60, you know, at anything, you know, 60 dB in that range, you would see them up here. You know, we're not seeing below that 60 dB range. Actually, we are seeing a little bit below the 60 dB range because the signal's off the scale, so we might even be 70 dB below or so. So what I'd do is I'd take this reference carrier here that says 0, and say I'd go down to 10, and then I modulate again, and I'm not quite at the tip of the scale, so probably 5 to be accurate. You know, so let's take and let's change this to a 5 here, and see what we got. So 5 will still hit past the tip of the scale. So we're around negative, you know, 65 dB below the fundamental. 10 dBs, 10 times power, 20 dBs, 100 times, 30 dBs, 1,000 times, so on and so forth. So you can imagine what tiny little measurement of signal we're seeing down here, but there's still nothing. 30 megahertz wide, 15 megahertz on each side of the carrier. It just shows it's clean, much, much cleaner than they would come out of the box. So we'll go ahead and just put that back on my regular setting there, receive and all that. Showed what all the controls are. This one's I already explained the tone. So we'll go ahead and plug it up and let you hear what it sounds like. Let me plug in my D104. Around back of my shop over here in my face, but whatever. Let's go ahead and hit my headphones on my head here. I'll cut the mic gain down to about 3 o'clock, so I'd leave just a little bit of headroom right here, and for different voices. So around 3 o'clock here, I got this tone somewhere around the 2:30, 3 o'clock position as well. Let me go ahead and plug into my line level circuit.
All right, there we go. Oh, I got my volume down on my monitor. See, my volume's cut all the way down. You can't really hear me. All right, I got my monitor volume cut back up now, so we can hear my voice line level onto the other receiving radio right here. Hello, 1, 2, breaker, breaker. There it is. There's with it adjusted correctly now. And I can go ahead and roll it up and make it more bassy just to show you the tone control does work. You can definitely make it more bassy for sure. I can roll it back and you can hear it a lot more highs in here and not really many lows when it goes way on back in there. Or you can kind of roll it back up and mix it to the right spot or location. Hello, 1, 2, breaker, breaker. I got the mic gain at about 230 here. I can roll that up and we can go wide open and get a little bit of, you know, artifacts of distortion, a little bit hot, a little bit heavy. I can back it down, smooth it out, and get that right range to fix with my voice. Hello, 1, 2, somewhere around in there. Put just a little bit more mids in here by pulling that back just a touch. Hello, 1, 2. There you go. Street Sweeper just shows you a little bit of the versatility of the control and the sound over the air with this D104 breaker breaker.
All right, there you go, Street Sweeper. Hope you enjoy it. I know the video is a little rough. You know, I'm usually doing these things kind of rushed because I stay real busy in the front door and got a lot more orders to take care of. But anyway, hope you enjoy it and appreciate the business.